Hi everyone, Steve here. Today I'm going to talk to you about SNIPS. These are SNIPS. Now they probably look like scissors to you, but one thing I will tell you if you're new in the field is that if you refer to these as scissors around anybody who's in the industry, you will probably get laughed at. Okay, so these are referred to as SNIPS. Sometimes they might be called lineman scissors, they might be called lineman snips, they might even be called electrician scissors, but generally just SNIPS is appropriate. Now, there's two basic types. There's kind of the traditional style, which is a little smaller, and then there's what they call kind of the ergonomic style, or what I like to think more of as real lineman's snips. And the reason why is for people who work with cable a lot, then having this ergonomic lever on the back really helps a lot, because when you're cutting through thick cables, it helps to take your hand out of the hoop there and actually put it on the back of that lever and give it a good squeeze. Whereas the traditional style makes a lot more sense for people who do, maybe small installations or a lot of repair work, that type of thing, where you're not actually cutting through cable a lot. So, because if you are working with cable a lot, your hands will be sore after a day of using these, but probably be a lot less sore using something like that. Okay, so I just want you to know this is one of my top 5 tools. So I would certainly have a pretty miserable day if I left the home or office without these. So I would probably even turn the vehicle around to go back and get my snips if I forgot them. All right, now you might be wondering, hey, why can't I just use a pair of scissors? Well, you might be able to get by a little bit with a pair of commercial scissors, but snips are specifically designed for people that work with cable. They're specifically designed for the cutting of cable, the stripping of wires, and I'll show you some examples. And then to be fair, I'll even try it with the scissors too to see what that looks like. So why don't I get some cable and show you a few examples. Okay, so let me give you an example. So I've got a piece of Cat 6 plenum cable here, and what I'm going to do first is I'm going to cut it just so you can see what it's like. Okay, so cut it. Real fast, neat, clean, a little bit of dental floss there hanging out. All right, let me try that same trick with the scissors. Almost, but as you can see, it's not a clean cut. I've still got like a little piece of wire hanging out there, so it was not a clean cut. So that is one of the main reasons why you would want to use real snips over just, say, a pair of commercial scissors. Now, in fairness, if you're just watching these videos because you only need to know how to do one simple connection or something like that, you probably can get by with just using scissors. You don't need to run out and buy a pair of snips. But if you're going to be in this business, or if you're going to work with this stuff enough, you definitely want to invest the roughly 12 to maybe 25 US dollars for a good set of snips. All right, the second thing that we do with snips that's important is we strip the jacket off of cable so we can get it ready for termination. So this white stuff here, that's what we call the jacket. I'm going to take the scissors, the snips, oh, please don't laugh at me, and I'm just going to graze the outside. Okay, so all I did was I just kind of lightly bit down a little bit. Actually, biting is probably too strong of a word. I'm just kind of grazing the outside just to make a little bit of an edge in there, and then I can just kind of break the cable, or it kind of peels apart like that. So like, all cables are different. Well, I should say there's a lot of different type of cables out there. Some do that a little easier than others. All right, and then the right way to do this is after you're done taking off that first piece of the jacket, is you take and you make a little notch like this. And the reason you do that is because it gives a place for you to take this little, see this thing here, it looks kind of like dental floss. It's referred to as ripcord, although a lot of people do still call it dental floss. You put it in the notch and you pull back, and it makes this tear in the jacket. That's done on purpose. And then what you do is you peel it back, say, I don't know, however long you need, let's say 1 inch, 2 inches, and then you take your scissors and very carefully cut around so that jacket comes off. And ideally, if you do it right, you want the jacket to come off in kind of here, let's get rid of this dental floss here. And that's another thing that the scissors don't do well. They don't cut that dental floss very well. For some reason, scissors and dental floss don't get along really well. But what you want to do is when you cut off that jacket is you want it to have a nice rounded collar when you're done. In fact, that's not even a perfect example. It's just kind of tough for me to do this while I'm working with the camera at the same time. All right. So the reason we did that is because when you do that initial grazing, that I was doing earlier, there's a possibility that you actually might go through the jacket and then actually penetrate the coating on the wires, which could either cause them to break or in some cases short. So that's what we do. We make the grazing action first, then we make the notch, then we pull the ripcord back, and then we cut around the collar to make a nice round collar. All right, so let me try that same action with a pair of scissors, and let's see if I can still do it. Now I might. I don't know. I've actually, well, I shouldn't say I haven't tried. I probably have tried once or twice. So let's see. So I'm going to make the grazing action here. And it's not grazing very well, but yeah, it's not perfect. Not as nice as I would like it to be. Let me get a little more aggressive here. Okay, there we go. All right, let me make my notch. So this is not going as fast as easy as I would like it to. The notch thing's not working very well. Okay, there we go. All right, pull it back. See if I can trim the collar. Yeah, this might work. I guess if I had to use a pair of scissors, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but probably would not. Now, one thing I have to say in fairness, though, this particular type of cable, this is Belden. CMP, which I guess CMP is the non-fire rated type, is that I don't know, it just is very easy to get along with for some reason. The jacket tends to come off fairly easy. So that was doing it with regular scissors, so it can be done. It's not as easy, but it can be done. All right, now let me show you another thing. I'm going to cut into a 25 pair, which, you know, a lot of network technicians and telco technicians don't have to do that often anymore, but it still does come up. And let's see what that looks like with a pair of SNIPS versus a pair of scissors. Be right back. Okay, so here's that 25 pair I was telling you about, and we're going to start with the SNIPS. Now, this may not happen all in one shot. I don't know. These are fairly new. I haven't tried with these Kleins yet to see how well that would work. Oh my goodness. Wow, that was easy. Now, I'm going to have to tell you, this set right over here, these are about, I don't know, 10, maybe 12 years old. I bought them in the last decade, I'm pretty sure. Would probably not work that well. Let's see. I'm fighting with it, but it is going. It's going. Okay, now let's see what a miserable undertaking that would be with just a pair of household scissors or commercial scissors. I don't even think this is even going to work. Yeah, it'll eventually go. You just have to kind of work it for a while. I mean, if this is what you were doing for a living, this would this would be pretty silly. Actually, it feels more like I'm going to damage the scissors at this point, so I think I might want to stop. Yeah, so anyway, so I think it's pretty obvious that if you're working with 25 pairs, SNIPS are definitely going to be a must. This is what's kind of cool about these Kleins that's kind of new, is to see how it's got that little indentation right there? That's new. I hadn't seen that before. So these are only about maybe, I don't know, about a year old, whereas these guys are, like I said, about 10 or 12 years old. But put that right there in those little notches like that, and wow, that went well. Okay, you'll remember I said that these little notches right here were for stripping the wire. Now, we don't do this so much anymore because a lot of the stuff we do now is, you know, a lot of the connectors are all punched down, so there's no need to strip off the coating. But if you were working with a screw terminal or some other instance where you needed to actually strip back the coating that's on the wire, that's what these little notches are for. So, see, I've got like this individual wire right here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it there in a little small notch. Hold it with my finger, just kind of like you're basically just holding it down like that. And then as you pull, that little groove is stripping back that rubber plastic coating that was on there. And then you could use that to like kind of put on, you know, screw terminal type phone jacks, which I guess you still see those around sometimes. So, all right, so that's the stripping part. Now there is something else I do want to show you too, and that is wire ties, these little plastic zip ties. These are miserable to get off with scissors. And I think it's because the scissors just don't have the leverage. But boy, you take this pair of SNIPS, man, it just cuts right through those suckers like that. All right, so yeah, and you're going to have to cut zip ties a lot in this business, so definitely don't want to be trying to do that with scissors. Okay, so let's wrap this up. Basically, if you're going to be doing this kind of thing more than just every so often, you're going to want to invest in a pair of SNIPS. Probably run you anywhere from maybe on the lower side, $10 to $12 for a set of traditional SNIPs, and but probably more like $25 for a really good pair of quality, especially the ergonomic style. All right, and hope that helps you out with your understanding of telecom tools. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.